Every time you see an empty profile, you're looking at a story, a long one, a psychological one, a story told entirely through silence. And today, we're going to decode it. Some of the most active people on social media are completely invisible. They see your posts, your stories, your reels, your lives. They know the trends, they know the drama, they know the aesthetics. But if you click on their profile, there is almost nothing there. It's easy to think they must be private, they're antisocial, they don't have a life. But that's rarely the true story. The true story. Silence, especially online silence, is never just silence. It's behavior, it's communication, it's strategy, and underneath it is a very real psychological pattern. Why do some people spend hours on social media but never show up online themselves? What are they avoiding? What are they protecting? And what are they hiding? When someone never posts, there's always a story behind it. Anxiety, boundaries, heartbreak, healing, or emotional overload. There are people who are emotionally intelligent enough to know that peace grows in private. Their silence isn't avoidance, it's intentional healing. Don't mistake a quiet feed for an empty life. We also know people who have survived more than they speak about. Their silence online is not weakness. It's wisdom learned the hard way. As a Christian, I know some people never post because the Holy Spirit has been teaching them boundaries. Not everything sacred is meant to be shared, and their silence is a sign of spiritual maturity. Others never post because their heart has been wounded before. And now they guard it, the way God guards his people. Their silence isn't pride, it's protection. In this video, I want to walk you through the mindset of people who never post. Their personalities, trauma, nervous system responses, and boundaries. And how our generation protects itself in a world obsessed with visibility. We live in a world where everything is public, everything is shared, everything is judged. But what happens when someone refuses to participate in that system? Why does their silence make us uncomfortable? Why are we quick to label it as boring, antisocial, or suspicious? The challenge is this: we interpret silence incorrectly. In this video, I want to gently walk you through some things that goes through the mind of the people who never post. We'll explore their personalities, their past experiences, their nervous system responses, their boundaries, and the ways our generation is learning to protect itself in a world that often demands visibility. Let's begin slowly with one of the most misunderstood reasons of all: privacy. Some people don't post because their relationship with privacy is fundamentally different. They don't see their life as content. They see it as theirs. They say things like, "I enjoy my life more when I'm not thinking about how it looks to other people. Once it's online, it's not mine anymore. I don't like people knowing too much about me." These people think deeply, feel deeply, and live deeply, just not publicly. Their self-worth isn't glued to visibility. Their life is not a product. They don't see their life as a content. They see it as something personal, something meaningful, something meant to be held, not performed. For them, privacy isn't about shame. It's about safety. It's about peace. It's about honoring the parts of their life that feel too tender, too precious, or too holy to hand over to the world. If you listen closely, you'll hear the story behind their silence. Now, let's move gently to a very different group. These are the people who want to post, but their brain simply won't let them. This is what I call the overthinking brain. For these individuals, the idea of posting triggers a very real, very tender fear of being judged, criticized, or laughed at. And the more afraid someone is of judgment, the more their sense of worth quietly attaches itself to likes, reactions, and the approval of others. On the surface, it looks simple. They take a photo. They overanalyze the photo. They worry about how people will interpret it. They wonder if their caption sounds awkward or cringe. They imagine embarrassment before anything has even happened. And then they delete it all and quietly return to scrolling. Some even have entire galleries full of photos that the world will never ever see. When someone has grown up being criticized, bullied, shamed, or constantly corrected, their nervous system becomes deeply sensitive to evaluation. Social media then starts to feel like a giant 24/7 stage where anything they share might be booed, mocked, dismissed, or ignored. It becomes public speaking turned into an app. People in this group often say things like, "I hate how anxious I feel after I post something. I keep thinking about who saw it and what they think. I replay people's reactions in my head, even when they're neutral." Even if no one says anything negative, their mind fills the silence with imagined criticism. So their solution becomes silence. Not because they don't want to express themselves, but because self-protection wins over self-expression. On the outside, you see a quiet profile. But on the inside, you're looking at someone whose mind is working tirelessly to keep them safe from shame. Now, let's talk about another group entirely. These are the observers, the quiet ones, the listeners, the people researchers often call lurkers. They are the individuals who rarely, if ever, post, but spend a great deal of time watching, reading, and taking everything in. Before you judge the people who never post, I want you to hold this truth gently. Silence is a language. For a long time, lurking was misunderstood. It was seen as passive, as doing nothing. But studies on online behavior tell us something very different. Lurkers often have clear, thoughtful motivations. They come to learn, to gather information, to feel connected, to understand what's happening in the world around them, without feeling the need to visibly contribute. And sometimes the sheer volume of social comparison, the privacy pressure, the information overload, and the emotional weight of too much content, too many expectations, pushes them into a quieter, observing space. Social media becomes a place to watch, not perform. Many observers are what we call highly sensitive processors. They notice details, they think deeply, their mind absorbs everything around them like a sponge. They often feel more comfortable taking in information than putting it out. Their nervous system prefers the audience over the stage. And if you listen closely, you'll hear them say things like, "I like seeing what's going on, I just don't feel like adding to it. I don't have the energy to maintain an online persona. I'd rather learn from other people's experiences than put mine out there." Sometimes this overlaps with introversion, sometimes with anxiety, but sometimes it's simply a different, quieter way of relating to community, gently, reflectively, from the edges. And here's the part I really want you to understand. A lurker is not inactive, they're engaged, just not visibly. They're listening, they're absorbing, they're understanding the world in a deep internal way. And honestly, listening is not a small thing. It is actually a profound and powerful form of participation. For many people, the decision not to post is rooted in something much more painful: experience. Maybe they shared a personal story once, and someone mocked it publicly. Maybe a so-called friend took screenshots and spread their business around. Maybe an ex used their posts to stalk them or to control them. Maybe they grew up in a family that was harsh, critical, or shaming, and nothing they did ever felt safe from commentary. When you've had experiences like that, your body stores them. So, the next time you're about to share something personal, a part of your nervous system whispers, "Last time we did this, we got hurt." Research has shown a clear link between worrying about who sees your information and feeling stressed. Add to that the anxiety that comes from comparison, previous negative experiences, and the fear of missing out, and suddenly social media becomes a place that easily reactivates old emotional wounds. From a trauma lens, not posting isn't laziness, and it isn't mystery. It's a safety behavior. People in this group often say things like, "I've had my trust broken before. I'm not doing that again online. I've been humiliated before. I'd rather be quiet than risk it. I've seen how messy things get when people share too much. I don't want that drama." The best word to describe this internal state is hypervigilance, a nervous system on guard, constantly scanning for possible threats. When being seen has been associated with harm, the brain learns to avoid exposure as much as possible. You've probably seen a profile that looks completely silent, just a blank grid, but on the inside, that blank grid is not emptiness. It's a boundary, a way of telling the world, "You don't get access to me without earning my trust." Let's take a moment to talk about identity and validation. Social media can very easily tie our sense of self-worth to engagement. Likes, comments, shares, views, they can become invisible scores, quietly measuring how much people care. For some people, this turns into a painful cycle. Post, wait for approval, feel good if the numbers are high, feel rejected if they're low. Research shows us that this kind of validation seeking is linked to higher anxiety, more stress, and lower self-esteem over time, especially for those who constantly compare themselves to others online. But not everyone enters that game. Some people have what we call a strong internal identity. They base their sense of who they are on their values, their beliefs, their character, and their close relationships, not on how many people react to their content. They may still enjoy social media, but posting doesn't define them. If they step away from the app, they still feel like themselves. Studies on self-disclosure and well-being tell us something important. Sharing can be healthy when it's voluntary, aligned with your goals, and happens in supportive spaces. But the same research warns that when people feel pressured to share, or when posting is driven by anxiety or a need for approval, it can actually harm mental health. This is why non-posters who are grounded internally often feel no pressure to feed the algorithm. And in conversations, you'll hear them say things like, "I don't feel the need to share everything to feel real. If no one saw it, it still happened, it still mattered. I want my life to be meaningful even if nobody claps for it." That is internal validation. So when they don't post, it isn't a lack of identity. It's actually evidence of a strong, stable relationship with themselves, a way of engaging with social media that doesn't require digital proof to feel real. Interestingly, newer studies suggest that how you use social media might matter more than simply how much you use it. More active posting for some people is linked to both higher positive emotions and higher anxiety. Meanwhile, more passive use can feel calming for some and overwhelming for others, all depending on their mindset and their nervous system. From a nervous system perspective, social media is a stimulant. Every notification is a little jolt of pay attention. Every post is a small story to process. Every comment is a potential emotional charge. And for some people, especially those already carrying anxiety, ADHD, trauma, or stress, that constant stimulation becomes too much. So, they adapt. They stop posting because posting adds one more layer of emotional load. How did my post do? Who saw it? Who ignored it? What does that mean? Silence becomes a strategy, a way to reduce that extra layer of stimulation. You'll often hear them say things like, "I'm calmer when I'm not thinking about posting. I can enjoy scrolling as long as no one is looking back at me. I like being invisible online. It feels peaceful." And that is not avoidance in a weak sense. It is self-regulation. It is their nervous system choosing quiet over noise. One of the biggest misconceptions about people who don't post is that they're emotionally closed. But often, it's the complete opposite. Many non-posters actually have very strong emotional insight. They understand how fragile peace is. They understand how quickly oversharing can lead to drama, comparison, jealousy, and misinterpretation. They've watched other people manage their online presence like a full-time PR job, and they've quietly decided that's not for me. These are people who naturally weigh the perceived benefits of sharing, connection, visibility, support against the perceived risks, judgment, privacy loss, and misuse of information. Personality plays a big role here. Some individuals, based on their temperament, see more risk, feel more concern, and choose to disclose less. For many of them, their perception is simple and grounded. My relationships matter more to me than my engagement. My healing matters more than the aesthetic. My goals matter more than people's opinions. So, they set boundaries. They don't post every win. They don't post every struggle. They share selectively or not at all. From my perspective, that is a form of emotional intelligence. It's the understanding that life grows better when certain things stay in protected spaces, in therapy, in prayer, in close friendships, in real face-to-face conversations. And I want to add something I personally believe very deeply. The sacred parts of life are not social media content. They are covenant. And covenants are not meant for public consumption. So, when you put all this together, privacy, trauma, overthinking, observation, identity, nervous system patterns, boundaries, you start to see silence differently. So I ask, what does silence actually mean? It means intelligence, it means healing, it means depth, it means survival, it means wisdom. Non-posters are not empty, they are intentional. Their silence is not absence, it is expression, it is communication, it is meaning. Silence is a language. Research even shows that silence doesn't mean absence. Lurkers listen deeply. private people have an interesting life. And those who post less often make wiser decisions about what's worth sharing. So what looks like doing nothing is actually a whole psychological pattern, a quiet intersection of personality, history, trauma, healing, and choice. In a world that screams, if you didn't post it, it didn't happen, non-posters quietly prove the opposite. Things can happen, they can matter, they can shape you, and still remain completely offline. And whether someone posts every day or not at all, there's nothing wrong with them. Your silence, her silence, anyone's silence might be saying, I am protecting what's mine. I am healing. I am navigating the world differently. I don't owe the internet my soul. The real question isn't why don't you post, but why do you use social media the way you do? Does it align with your peace, your values, your emotional and spiritual health? Those are the questions that matter. And honestly, I hope hearing this helps you see yourself or someone you love a little more clearly. Because your story matters, even if you never post it. I want you to hear this clearly. Your quiet does not make you invisible. Your silence does not make you small. Your boundaries do not make you difficult. They make you wise. God sees the version of you that never makes it online. He sees the tears you never post. He sees the victories you celebrate in private. He sees the growth nobody else knows about. And He calls you worthy, even when you say nothing at all. If you're comfortable, just take a slow breath with me. And if you want, you can let this be a prayer over your heart. Dear God, thank you for seeing me even in my quiet seasons. Thank you for protecting the parts of me I'm still learning to hold gently. Strengthen me where I feel fragile. Heal the places where I've been hurt. Teach me when to share and when to stay hidden with you. Help me honor my story the way you're writing it. And remind me that I don't need an audience to be loved, to be chosen, to be enough. Amen. If this touched something in you, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments if you feel safe to share. But if you prefer to stay silent, just know I still see you. Thank you for being here. And I hope you stay close, even if you stay quiet.